Hey guys, I filmed a video this morning that was kind of a tour, an update, and I'm actually going to start editing that video now because while I told you in that video that I wanted to get more of the roof done, which I did, I also injured myself, and I'm going to have to take a break for at least today in terms of working. This metal isn't super sharp. I've been using gloves to take it up the ladder and put it on the roof, but then when I'm up there screwing it in, I have to reach in my pockets for screws, and gloves don't let that happen. So I don't wear gloves while I'm up there, and I just happened to be maneuvering wrong and sliced my finger pretty deeply. It was bleeding all over the place. So anyway, we wrapped it up, got the bleeding to stop, and I'm just going to go in the house and just start editing the video that I filmed this morning, and that's just going to come out earlier than it was supposed to. What are you going to do? Hey guys, let's catch up. It's been a while, Thanksgiving and everything, and I wanted to take you on a little tour, show you what's been going on. Now, some of this, I have filmed videos, and they may be out before or after this one. I'm not real sure of the timeline. So some could be review, and some could be preview. I do have a couple of previews, 2 new projects that I'm going to get started very, very soon that I'm really excited about, one for sure. So first of all, in the vegetable garden, you still see the piles. I haven't started that yet. We were gone for several days for Thanksgiving. We went back to Camarillo, where I'm from now. And I've been trying to finish the patio cover, which has been a lot more work than I thought it would be. Let me flip the camera around here and you can see I'm almost done. I've got 3 full sections on, and I'm working on this center right section. Now this is the hardest section because it involves putting on the peak of the roof, which I don't know if you can see. Probably not. It's a strip of metal that runs along the whole thing. I found out very early on when I was putting on the first section that crawling out onto the metal was not going to work. I was starting to bend it. It was precarious, and I knew when I got up to the top it would be actually slippery and pretty dangerous. And so I put the entire roof on with the ladders just like this and just moved them down as I went. A little precarious, a little hard to reach way over to do some of those screws, but at least it worked. However, when I got to thinking about how I was going to put the peak on, I mean, if you think about it, both sides of this peak come up to the top, and then the peak has to go down the center. Well, unless I can hover over it to screw it in, I was finding it hard to figure out a way where I could actually do that. And the strips are these 8 to 10 foot long sections here of metal. So what I came up with was, for this last section, putting on a piece. Well, first of all, as soon as I got the front piece on, I attached a peak piece right there. I'm just going to crawl up the ladder because it's going to be a lot easier to show you that way. And this is a really great morning to be doing this because it's foggy, and this metal really reflects the sunlight. So I was out here yesterday and it was blinding and hot. Okay, so see what I mean? You've got this metal strip going along the top. It ends right there. So what I'm having to do is, as I put on this last section, I'm sliding these pieces up underneath the metal that's already there and then screwing them down. Another thing I figured out that I have to do is put this foam waterproofing right in here so that rain can't get up underneath and then drip down inside. But all in all, it's coming together really well, and I should have it finished. Let me just give you a little peek. It's hard to angle under here. So I'm really excited to have this done, have everything safe from the rain this winter underneath. Let's head over here and take a look at the temporary vegetable garden for the fall winter season. If you watched my video the other day, these are probably grown since then. It's all cabbages, broccoli, lettuces, beets, chard, and peas. So once I have the patio cover done, which is today, today's Friday, so we'll see what happens this weekend. I'm not exactly sure what the plans are yet. Next week, the project will be to get started on the future vegetable garden, all this area here, and building up the stone walls. I'm going to start with the lowest wall first, which is going to run right along here. I have to shave off that soil there that's kind of jutting out. And then what I have to do is dig a 6-inch deep, I think 12-inch wide or 18-inch wide, let's check that, trench all the way along here. And that's going to be filled with this crushed rock, which will give stability to the base of the wall. And so everyone is telling me that the first run of the stone on top of that crushed rock is the most important. Every single one has to be level and lined up. And then after that, then it's just a matter of stacking them as you go, putting the pins in. There's not a lot of leveling to do because you accomplish that with the first run of the bricks. So I've got 3 walls to do. I've got one right here, all the way along there. I've got one right along here, and then way up there, the last one right up there. So the finished due date for this project is spring planting time. I would love to get it done by mid-January. That probably won't happen. Mid-February would be fine as well. I'm going to be working on a second project, actually 2 projects during the same time period, which for a person with ADHD like myself is helpful, because if you have a long project that's drawn out, the ADHD brain tends to get bored and want to quit. So I have found that if I have 2 or 3 projects going at once, it makes it easier to stick to because I don't get bored on just one. If you don't have ADHD, probably better to just stick with one at a time. So the chickens are doing pretty well. They just finished molting, and now we're just seeing wire. But it's time to get them out of here, get them into something bigger that will accommodate a lot more than 3 hens, because I want a lot more than 3 hens. So I think in a previous video, I showed you where I was going to be putting the chicken coop. It's not going to be near the vegetable garden. It's actually going to go into the future English garden, which right now is a succulent garden. Those succulents, it's funny, when I moved in here, I had no interest in succulents. As I said, I could appreciate them for what they are, but I wasn't interested. But this entire area out here, which is a huge area, is pretty much 80% succulents. So these, majority of these will be moved into the big Mediterranean garden that I'm going to have over on the other side of the property. And this whole area here is going to be part of our English garden, which also includes part of the front yard here. So the chicken coop is actually going to go in the back of this area, against the fence, next to the little private driveway we've got here. So all this area here, which is great because it's pretty much cleared and it's fairly flat as far as this property is concerned. There's a little bit of leveling I'll have to do, but nothing that a rototiller and rake can't handle. I won't need to bother Bill for this project with his tractor. Now, I was originally going to be doing a chicken coop that matched the style of our house. Black and white, kind of farmy. But it was a basic design, kind of just a little house and a run with a lean-to type roof. And as I've been working on the patio cover and seeing that that is certainly not traditional for a patio, I really started to think back into theming. We're going to be in an English garden right here. So while the house has a certain style and look, that's really just meant to be the house, and it's fairly plain because the gardens are really going to take center stage. So I started thinking about the theming of the English garden and drew out some plans. What I'm going to do, which might be kind of fun, is not fill you in on exactly what the plans are, let you watch as we build it, and have you guess what it's going to look like. Maybe even do some kind of a giveaway for someone with the right answer. I don't know. I'm going to try to make it fun, make it interactive, so that you'll go along as we build this. You'll see it being constructed, and at some point, obviously, you'll see what it's going to be. Let me know what you think of that. I always like to get you guys involved, and I thought rather than just showing you a picture of what it's going to be and then having you watch me build it, make it a fun game. Okay, so garden walls, chicken coop, and then a third project. So this project is going to be kind of a temporary thing. It's out of necessity, really. It's something that I need right now, and that is a hoop house, greenhouse, polytunnel, whatever you want to call it. Something that is going to allow me to start a lot of seeds. I do have the Viper Spectra grow lights, but I'm talking on a large scale. I need a lot of plants for this big property, and I don't want to have to pay an arm and a leg for every single one. And so there's a lot of propagation I'm going to be doing, cuttings and seeds, and I need something that I can keep a little warm during the winter, has the natural sunlight over a wide area. And so this area right here below the parking lot patio, it's open enough to be able to do that. It's also an area that's not going to be used right now. This area down here is actually where the goats are going to go once we get those, probably next year. And the reason I chose this spot for the goats, I'm really having to figure out how to manage these eucalyptus trees because there are a lot of them. And I don't want to have to, first of all, pay to cut them all down because that gets very expensive. I've counted and we have about between 30 and 40 trees. So there are some that I'm going to have to take out. These really big ones right here next to the patio are going to have to go simply because when the pool goes in, I've heard that eucalyptus, not only will it dump trash all over the pool, but I've been told by several people that the eucalyptus leaves themselves, the oils in them will stain the patio. Now, I did a video before on taking some of these trees out, and I got some rude comments from people who said, how could you possibly take out mature trees, yada, 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 which I fully agree with if they were not eucalyptus trees. Eucalyptus trees do not belong here. They are not natives. They are dangerous for Southern California. They are flammable, which we certainly don't need here. I've heard them be called eco-terrorists because they do take up a tremendous amount of water, which is another thing California doesn't need. But I do appreciate the maturity of these trees, and I need some mature trees here. I'm going to be planting a lot more than I take out, but they take time to grow. So I'm going to choose very specifically which ones I remove. Now, my tropical area is going to have a lot of raised beds, so some of the eucalyptus can actually stay and will provide good canopy cover for those plants. The place I have the most eucalyptus trees is that area down there, and that is why that's going to be where the goats will be. They'll have their run of that area, and I don't have to worry about growing things underneath them and having them take all the water. Plus, they're farther from the house, so the flammability of them isn't as quite a big of a concern as the ones that are more near the house. So anyway, that's my thoughts on all of that. I am going to change clothes now because the sun is starting to come out and it's going to get bright and hot. I want to get up there, finish the patio cover, and Well, I'll take you along with me. I'm filming the whole process, so that'll be coming out just in a few days. I'll see you guys next time.